Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, we're really glad you're here today.
We're excited to be here today where we're going to be talking about how you can offer multiple experiences with the same product or the same sort of base level offering. So if you are somebody who is looking to offer one thing, maybe with upsells or a range of different experiences, you are in the right place. We're going to talk about how to get that done with AttractWell and what the sort of this to that alignments are, right? If you want it to do with this thing, what do you use in AttractWell to get it done? We're going to be breaking that down here today and exploring some use cases, maybe even your own if you're here live. So we're going to go ahead and pop out a video, get into some slides. We've got a lot to get into today. We have several people who are signed up for live work reviews as well. If you are here for that, please do go ahead and just let me know in the chat that you are here and ready to go. And we'll be sure to call you out when it's time. Also, head over into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from, what kind of work you do, who do you help, what do you offer, and what is your program or offering that we are going to be talking about here today, right? Like what makes this interesting to you? Always excited to hear more about the incredible people that we attract here to this community. So again, as promised, we are here to talk about offering multiple program experiences using vaults in AttractWell. We can certainly explore other offering potentials here on this call today if you're here and you would like to discuss that. But let's get into it. Today, we are going to be talking about designing and offering tiered experiences with a program or other type of offering using AttractWell. We're going to talk about how to deliver those experiences, and we're again going to explore some use cases. And as always, we have live help in Q&A. Again, we have two folks who signed up for live reviews today. Excited to have you here. It looks like we've got folks coming in from all over the US right now, which is exciting. You guys do a lot of really great work, and we are honored to be a part of your journey, helping you make a difference in the world. So if you came here today with questions, whether they have to do with today's subject matter or not, I want to invite you to head over to the Q&A and ask away. This is an opportunity that we provide every week at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time, except for federal holidays and next week. Also, we actually are going to be gone for a conference next week, so we will have a pre-recorded training next week. Summer can be a little bit busy around here, but we'll be back at our regularly scheduled live time after that. So go ahead and add those questions to the Q&A if you've got them. If you're watching this as a replay and you would like to interact live on a call like this, it's totally free. You do not even have to be an AttractWell community member to take part in this. If you're maybe evaluating whether or not AttractWell is a fit for you, it's a great opportunity to ask questions and engage. Go to attractwell.com/office hours to be on the list for these calls. And if you'd like to work together live on a call like this one, as several folks have signed up to do here today, you can go to attractwell.com/work review, and that will help you save some time at the end of these calls. So typically we go about halfway through our hour with our training content, which we'll be doing here in just a moment. And then of course, the second half we save for chatting with and working with folks on a wide range of things from strategy to design, tech questions, and getting hands-on in accounts. So definitely take advantage of this if you haven't done so already. And if you would like to just hand off your project to someone, if you know what you want and you want someone to do it for you, we've got you covered there too. attractwell.com/concierge is where you're going to want to go for that. So let me know in the chat what you are working on. Are you working on an offer? Maybe it's a course or a program. Maybe you've got a membership you're developing. What are you building now? Let us know in the chat. Always excited to see what that looks like. So today, as promised, we are going to be talking about delivering tiered experiences, meaning you have one thing that you're selling, but there are multiple options that you are selling for it, right? So this could be that you're selling a course that can be sold on its own, but you also maybe want to offer group coaching sessions or even one-on-one coaching along that same line using the same content, right? So people can buy it for at one level and get one experience, another level, another experience, and so on, right? So our process here is as follows. First, we need to outline what we want the experience to be for each level, right? So the first thing we need to do if we're going to offer tiered experiences is we want to be super clear on what's going to happen at each tier. So from the point that they purchase through to completion of interaction with what you've created, what do we want that experience to look like? So this is something that I highly recommend maybe creating an outline for, or if you want to go a little bit higher tech, I think Kanban boards are really great for this. Like Trello, for instance, would be a great place to kind of map out what this can look like. But definitely get really clear on what you want this to ultimately look like, depending on which level someone purchases. And where this begins is understanding what the base level offering is, right? So for the majority of us, what this is going to look like is, we have some kind of curriculum that we're delivering, right? We've got a series of videos, maybe some downloads, et cetera. And whether you are buying in at the base level or you're getting the group coaching or whatever, everybody's going to get this one main thing. Or maybe that's the community. Maybe community is the baseline. Depends on what you're offering, right? So we want to be thinking about for the base level offering. So again, no matter what somebody pays, everybody gets this one thing. What is that thing and how is it delivered? And then what, if anything, are you offering in addition to that base level, right? So people can buy the base level, but then they can get the base level and something else, right? And how is that something else delivered? What do you want that experience to look like, feel like, and be in terms of interaction for the person who purchases it, right? So this is the first thing that you want to do. Outline what this looks like, map it out visually. If you are a more visually oriented person where organization is concerned, again, grab Trello or even use whiteboards in Canva to kind of map out what this looks like for you. So after you've outlined your experience, we want to get clear on what delivery looks like, right? So for each experience we're creating, right? So each tier will have its own experience. We want to get clear on what delivery looks like for those. So with AttractWell, let's break down kind of what is what, right? So especially if you're newer to AttractWell, you might not kind of know what our internal terminologies is, our naming conventions are for different features in the system. So let's start with step-by-step content. Again, for the majority of us who are here, we're selling information of some kind. And even if you're selling services, it's very likely that there is some kind of information that you need that person to interact with in a step-by-step way or in some kind of organized fashion. So the majority of us are going to have some amount of step-by-step content or some kind of organized content, typically including video, but not necessarily always. So if you are that person, you are offering content in this way, you need a class. Now, this is a structure inside of AttractWell that lives inside of another structure called a vault. Now, we do have training that kind of breaks down all of the member area terminology and walks you through exactly what you need to build out a program, right? Today, we're kind of going into specific use cases and depth for whether or not you want to add multiple experiences to something that you're selling. But if you want to get like the basics of creating a program, period, highly recommend that you check out How to Build Your Online Course. And I'll show you where to find that here in just a bit. It is in the Success Academy in your dashboard in AttractWell. So if you're going to offer step-by-step content, that's going to be a class. If you're offering video, you have multiple ways to deliver that. It can be, of course, delivered via your class if you want that to be structured that way. You could also deliver video on a page in a vault or elsewhere, or you can link directly to your video if it is in your AttractWell Video Manager and you want to include a direct link to that video. Discussion rooms are where you will have discussion, or if you would rather not have a catch-all discussion room and you want to keep things tailored to topical conversation, ideally topical to the content that you're sharing, having threads or having discussion enabled in your online classes is a great option here. So if you want to have back and forth between you and them and everyone else who is engaging, you've got these discussion options to consider. If what you are offering, again, as a base level or as an additional level is downloadable content, you've got the download section in your classes. You are able to link to your downloaded content if it's in your files manager via a URL or a link. And you could put that onto pages, make it a button, right? Or you could send it via email campaign or even text. Audio files, similarly, we can put those into our classes. We can embed them onto pages where they're playable, or we could link directly to the file via email or text. If what you're offering as, say, an upsell is a series of live Zoom calls, you have multiple ways of sharing that information, right? So we can take the link to our Zoom call and the schedule for our Zoom calls and put that on a page inside of a vault. Or we could simply put that into an email or text and have that go out to the people who are registered for that level of service, that tier of your offering. And for calendar appointments, if again, you're offering one-on-ones as an upsell for your base level offering, you can link to your form. You could go to a page that has a form embedded on it. That could be in the vault, it could be on your website, or you could send them directly to your Calendly link, etc. Right? So you've got all of those options for how you might interact with somebody, or someone might interact with an offering of yours. Now, where we're trying to decide how we set up our vaults or how we set up our offers, period, in AttractWell, where vaults are concerned, it's important for you to know that whoever has access to a vault has access to everything in that vault. When people are in a vault, if you have person A and person B, even if person B paid more than person A to get access to the vault, they will both be able to see the same stuff, right? So that's how vaults are set up. Everyone who has access to a vault has access to everything in the vault. So if you want the in-vault experience to be different between the different tiers of offerings you are creating, you want to use 2 vaults or more, right? So if, for instance, you want to have the base level offering that you have is maybe a curriculum, right? So it's an online class, online course, and there is no community aspect, that's going to be offered in a vault on its own. Because if the upper tier includes a community, you have to have that in a separate vault, right? Because if the discussion room is enabled in the vault, everyone who's in the vault will be able to see and interact with the discussion room. All right. So let's get into a couple of examples here just to kind of spell this out. These obviously are not, a comprehensive view of everything you can do in AttractWell. It's just 2 pretty straightforward examples, and we are definitely able to explore the intricacies of what you're looking to do if you're here live on the call today. So the first example here will be for a self-study course and a group coaching program using the same base level offering, right? So that base level offering is my online course. So let's just say I have an online course that teaches you how to balance your blood sugar, okay? And this is a self-study course. Now, you can purchase this self-study course and you get access for a year, or you get access forever, or whatever. You get access to all of the videos, all of the downloads, everything that's included in the digital curriculum, right? In the online class, you get all of that. That's my base level offering. Maybe I'm selling it for $197. Okay. Now, maybe because I am going to have an upsell here that is group coaching. If you buy today, I'm going to give you access to 1 live workshop because I really want them after they experience one live workshop to go ahead and purchase the group coaching part, right? So we want them to buy the higher level offering if it's a fit for them. Okay, so that's our base level offering. Got our digital curriculum, and they will get access to 1 live workshop that'll be held on Zoom as a bonus. Now, this base level offering is going to be delivered in a vault in AttractWell, right? That's a little container in your member area that holds things like online classes, pages, discussion rooms, right? So this is going to be delivered in a vault in AttractWell with an online class. And that workshop link is going to be sent to this person who buys the base level offering via an email campaign, right? So when they purchase, they're going to receive an email campaign that sends them a reminder for the workshop. It's going to be a date-based campaign, sends a reminder for the workshop. Hey, we're going to be meeting, on X date and time. And then we'll send them another one. Hey, we're meeting in an hour, etc. Right? And we could actually share the link to this in the vault, right? That is an option, right? Because this is our base level here, right? So they're going to get access to one workshop. Now, our second tier offering, right? The upsell here is we get the digital curriculum, but we also get community discussion. And we get 6 live group calls over a 6-month period. right? So you have two options. For $197, you can buy the self-study course and get one bonus workshop. But if you pay $697, you're going to get the digital curriculum, and you're going to get community support, and you're going to get 6 live group calls for 6 months to help you implement what you learn in the digital curriculum. All right, is this all making sense? You can see how this offer might be structured. So the way that we would deliver this in AttractWell is to put it in a vault, of course, with an online class and a discussion room and a page to hold all of our call recordings. We'll also have a campaign here as well, because we want to send out our reminders for these calls that are happening monthly. And we could also link to these in the vault, because we need to have separate vaults for this example. And I'll show you what this looks like here visually. So in this case, because the experience we're delivering inside the vault is different between our base level offerings, we have to create 2 different vaults. Right? Almost everything else is the same, except when you go for the second tier, sorry, it's $897. You go for the second tier, you're getting the discussion room in the vault, and you're getting a page that houses our call schedule, the link to the Zoom calls, and our replays, right? And of course, again, in this case, we've got a campaign that sends the bonus workshop to our base level offering, and we've got a campaign that sends out all of the information and reminders about the workshops going to our folks who bought in at the $897 level. Okay, is making sense so far? And I'm going to break down what this looks like here too, if you're unfamiliar. But just, you know, to show you here, inside of this little purple square, that's a vault, right? The curriculum, this what is that? A pentagon. Anyway, this has a curriculum, right? That's our online class. This green rectangle is our page that is the welcome guide. We also have a green rectangle page here in the other vault that is the calls and replays, and of course the discussion rooms, that little chat box. And you can see that there's an automation for both of these as well. So let's dig into this. So to build this self-study and group coaching option, you're going to create one online class for your digital curriculum, just one. Now, there would be one exception here. Randy, your question, we add the curriculum and welcome guide to 2 different vaults. So this kind of depends, right? So if the community aspect for your upsell in this second tier, if the discussion is only taking place in the discussion room, then you are going to be able to use the exact same curriculum. So that online class, you're going to be able to use the exact same thing in both vaults. However, if you are wanting to have discussion on the curriculum, right? So if you want to enable discussion on the individual lesson pages, in this first one on the left, in this online class where we have the curriculum in the base offer vault, we're not going to enable discussion on that. But when we copy that online class into our second vault here, we can go in that vault, enable discussion on those lessons, right? And the welcome page, that guide page, you can use it as a template for vault number 2 here for the second tier, but you will have to modify that welcome guide page, right? So create the base vault, and then basically reuse the contents of that to build on and create the second vault. You will, of course, need to give slightly different information on that welcome page for folks who bought in at $897 versus $197, because the information that they need is slightly different, right? Okay, so now we got that cleared up. So what we're doing here is we're creating one online class for our digital curriculum. All you got to do is create your online class once. You'll be able to use it in multiple vaults. But you're going to create 2 vaults, because remember, the in-vault experience differs between these 2 offers. We do have the same base level offering, and that is that online class, but the experience differs between the 2 payment levels, which means we need 2 vaults, right? So, and that's in-vault experience, the community part, right? So create 2 vaults. The first one is going to be just the curriculum, just the online class, and then any of the pages that you want to include, such as a guide page. Then you've got your second vault, which is curriculum or the online class, the community, which is a discussion room, and then any pages you want to include, such as calls and replays pages, guide pages, etc. Right? Then again, 2 campaigns because there are 2 experiences. You're going to create 2 automations. Again, 1 for each tier, and we're going to apply those automations to the point of purchase. So basically what we're doing is once we've created our online class, then we create our vaults. Our online class goes into our vaults. We build out the vaults the way that we want them. We create the campaigns, right? And the first one is going to be, welcome. I hope you enjoy the curriculum. Remember, you get access to this one workshop. Here's the date, here's the information. You make this a date-based campaign. You attach it to this automation. And then when you set up your payment options, whether that's at the vault level or on a page on your site or even in your online store, you're going to use an automation to both add them to the vault as well as to add the campaign, or you could just add the campaign, right? Using this automation, right? But the automations you're creating are adding them. So experience A, 197, curriculum only. That's going to be automation A. So it applies campaign A, it applies vault A, it adds tag A. Then you create automation B. It adds vault B, campaign B, tag B, right? Make sense? Okay, now let's talk through another example here. This may be where you offer a community, but then the upsell is you get access to coaching calls. Okay, so the base level offering is, again, we're going to have some kind of a digital curriculum. When you're selling an experience to someone, it really is helpful for you to give them something they can start sinking their teeth into even before they start receiving the value of maybe being in community or getting onto a call, right? So the base level offering here is a digital curriculum and a community. The bonus maybe as well might be to attend a live workshop, just like we did before. If our upsell is to be able to get onto live calls, then we might want to give them a taste of what a live call is like as a bonus when they get started at a lower plan level. So this is going to be delivered in a vault with an online class and a discussion room, right? Because we're offering community as a base level offering. So having a community and having this curriculum is what you are selling at the base level. So that means your vault is going to have an online class and a discussion room, certainly some pages too. And then that workshop link that they're getting as a bonus, that's going to be sent out via an email campaign, applied post-purchase, and then of course shared in the vault, just like we did in that example that we spoke about a moment ago. Now, the upsell here, or the second tier offering, is to have that same digital curriculum and community, but then they're going to have that set of 6 live group calls over a 6-month period, right? So they're getting community for $197, or maybe $47 a month or something like that. But for $147 a month, they're getting access to these group calls, right? Whatever that looks like for you. So we have our first tier, there's community and curriculum. Second tier is community, curriculum, and calls. Okay, so this again, delivered in a vault with an online class for the curriculum, discussion room for the community. And then the calls are actually going to be delivered via campaign. So that obviously it's going to be Zoom calls that you're on, but we're not putting any of this in the vault, right? So that means everybody is in the same community, whether they just purchased the curriculum or they're getting onto the live calls. So all of the reminders, all of the links to join the call, all of the replays are being sent via a campaign to the people who purchased at that higher level, right? So this is what it looks like if you were to build it. One vault, just one vault. And that has your curriculum, it has your discussion room, it has your guide page, but then the campaigns are what create the different experience here. The campaign for the base offer is just going to send them the information on that one bonus workshop and, of course, encourage them to communicate and, engage in the community, etc. But the second tier is going to have a much bigger campaign that's applied to them because that's going to give them all of that information about here's our next call, here's what you do to prepare for it, here's the reminder, here's the Zoom link. And then, of course, if you are using the record to cloud feature in Zoom from AttractWell, you can convert those videos straight into your video library and then just send direct links to your folks at this second tier level so that they have the replays, they just aren't in the vault, right? They're in their inbox. All right, so what this would look like is that we've got one online class for a digital curriculum. We've got one vault that holds it. We'll have a discussion room and pages, but no call pages, because we are creating a cohesive experience for both levels, right? Because what we're selling at the base level here is community. So we don't want to divide our community. We want to have as many people in the community as possible, but the people who are getting the upsell of the calls, they are getting something special in their inbox, right? So we're not putting any information about our calls in this vault. We are sending all of that out via email. So here again, we're going to have two campaigns, one for each tier, just as you should in any case where you've got multiple versions of an offer. So our base level offer campaign is going to have that welcome, the bonus call reminder, the link, and the second tier is going to have the same, except it's going to have all of the call reminders and links. And if you are sharing replays, like I mentioned, you're just going to shoot a direct link off via a broadcast to the people who are tagged at this buy-in level. You're going to send the replay out to them just with a direct link to the video from your video manager. You'll then create two automations, one for each tier, so that you can put those at your point of purchase, no matter where you're selling this. And then those automations are going to apply their respective campaign for that plan level, along with any tags. And of course, in any case, it would add them to the same vault, because we're using one vault for this community offer. All right, so let me go back to the diagram here just to make sure that we're super clear on how these differ, right? So that's our, we're selling a community with a curriculum, but the coaching calls are coming via a campaign, right? But everybody's in the same vault. But if we are offering something different here, where we just have the self-study and the upsell is the community, we are creating a separate vault. So that really is like the primary distinction. If we are going to be offering stuff in vault. So I'm very interested to see what kind of questions you guys have, if any. Feel free to ask those, or if there is a way that you are wanting to offer a program, or figuring out kind of what your offer would look like in AttractWell, I would love for you to maybe share what that looks like for you. You could even pop your hand up and we could discuss it real quick before we start bringing out anyone who signed up for live work reviews. So if you have maybe a special use case, maybe something slightly different than what we've shared here today, then we can definitely chat through that if it's helpful to you. Let me see. Okay, so nope, that answered your question. Perfect. And yeah, you know what, Peggy, I saw your name and I was like, she does this. I'll use this as an example. No, that's great. Let's see. Do you suggest monthly payment or one-time payment, or both? Sandy, that really kind of depends on your preferences. I will say that it is much more work to establish and maintain a membership than it is to sell something one-off, but that doesn't mean it's not worth it. It really depends on what your goals are, and what delivery looks like for you, and how you want to interact. So if you are selling something, and this is an important distinction as well, and we talk about this in How to Build Your Online Course, which let me show you guys how to find that here in just a second. Where you are selling something that is multi-part payment, so maybe that's installments, 3 payments of $300 or whatever, or a membership where somebody's paying something monthly, annually, etc. That is something that you are going to need to sell at the vault level, right? So you need to set up a vault checkout page for that, because our vaults are capable of processing recurring payments. If it's one-time payment of any kind, you can you could sell that at the vault level, you could sell that from a page, you could sell that from your store. All of those are options there. But it just really kind of depends on the model. I generally, unless you have a very large active audience that has maybe shown openness to purchase from you and has purchased from you in some way already, I don't generally encourage folks to create memberships early on. I think it's really smart to sell a few things first and to actually build an audience of buyers who would want to maybe subscribe for something that's a bit more premium. You could, I would give a caveat here. If you wanted to do something that was a little bit more similar to, say, like a Patreon model, where maybe people are purchasing at a very small dollar amount on a monthly basis, premium content or something like that, you could certainly give that a shot. But yeah, generally speaking, I would highly recommend working, if you're newer at selling your expertise. Private clients is where you start, and it's a great place to start. It's a great proving ground, and it's easier to get private clients than it is to get group coaching clients, right? So go from that to group coaching, and then from there to membership is generally the trajectory that we see most often working very well, and it being something that's sustainable and momentum building. But that does not mean that it's true for exactly everyone. So if you want guidance on kind of how to put together what you have in mind, we are here to help. That's what these calls are for. Suggestions on creating a one-on-one coaching offer, Daryl. So we actually have a training in our Success Academy. It's one of our replays from this call series that we do on creating a private coaching dashboard. And that's definitely a one-on-one offer that I highly recommend using in AttractWell, because it's a scalable one-on-one offer. It's hard to scale one-on-one because it is your time, but the more streamlined you are in how you deliver information, how you collect information, interact, teach, etc., the more leveraged you are in how you are approaching your one-on-one time, the more time you actually have available. Because if you think about the time it takes to work with someone one-on-one, it can be 70% or more of that time is stuff that you can accomplish without being there in person, right? So you can actually leverage tools in AttractWell, for instance, to get that done. So in terms of creating a one-on-one offer, another option that I can really highly recommend if you're newer to coaching, to offering your expertise, let me just show you here. If you go into your dashboard, go to the Success Academy. First things first, I did mention, so this is online resources and courses, how to build your online course. It's not just about online courses. If you want to learn how to create a membership, a private client dashboard, a group program, or an online course, all of that is here, and it's all step by step. And it kind of organizes, because if you were to go into, say, like our live training and replays, all of these office hours calls that we have on YouTube that we've done for years, you could fall down a pretty long rabbit hole. But what we do here in how to build your online course is we kind of organize everything that you need to know in the order that you need to know it, and the steps that you need to take to get things done. So if you're wanting to build out an experience and you know what your expertise looks like and how you might structure that and sell it, then you would be ready for this. But if you don't quite know yet, maybe how to frame your expertise to get your first client or get your first testimonial, case study, etc., so that you can start developing offers that make sense for you. This Pipeline Igniter course, if you have access to it, it's like $17, I think. Highly recommend that you grab this. It is faster to go through in terms of content than watching your favorite show on Netflix. And it really is a great starting point for anyone who is who's looking to really just get the ball rolling, right? So actually start selling your knowledge in a really sustainable way. So Peggy, if you go over to live training and replays and you type in client dashboard, you'll actually find, it'll search our YouTube channel for you, and you'll see that we've got a training right here for from about a year ago. So I talk about in depth kind of what the philosophy here is in creating a private client dashboard, but you'll also find a great deal about that if you are in the Success Academy under online resources and courses, going into how to build your online course, because I do explore the different sort of, if you're building this, then do this. And we do that throughout this entire step-by-step process. So definitely recommend both of those. Is there a way to embed podcasts into courses? Yes, you could link directly to anything, but if you want the experience to be in just in that place, again, if you use the same thing that I just shared with Peggy on searching for a private client dashboard, if you type in podcast, we have a number of different resources there. And one of those, I actually demonstrate how to embed a podcast player My recommendation would be, though, if you are going to be including content such as a podcast that is hosted elsewhere, I would just encourage you to try to keep things as isolated as possible inside of the course, right? Because you want people to stay focused on your content and completing what's there and not sending them out into directions where they might fall down an internet rabbit hole and forget that they bought a course. And how many of us have bought a course and not completed it? Right? We don't want that to be the case for your people. So yeah, you could embed the player directly into the lesson, and that just requires just opening up the code viewer and pasting some code in, or actually using, and I think the trick that I use is just to pretend like it's a video and you're pasting code there in the video space, and it'll pop that up. So definitely, yeah, search podcast and you'll find that, and other really great content on incorporating podcasts into AttractWell. Let's see, can you delay modules based on week 1, week 2? Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes, Peggy, I can call you out second for sure. Seva, if you're here, I would love to bring you out. Perfect, I see you're here. Yeah, so Daryl, you have, and this is in How to Build Your Online Course as well, and I believe that you'll find this in some of our help articles. You have the ability to control the rate at which people consume the information inside of your online class. In AttractWell, you can choose to have it be date-based in terms of its release, so like calendar date-based. It could be a number of days out from the point of purchase. It could be requiring instructor approval. You can require homework to proceed. You have a lot of different options there that you can take advantage of. All right. Hi, Seva, how can we help?
Hi. Well, I'm sorry, it's a little off topic, so I don't
Sure.
want to take anybody away from that. But basically I'm just setting up my website, and I think I'm just getting stuck with the settings and not knowing how to change things to make it look lovely.
Okay. Is it a particular page?
Yes, please, the home page.
Okay.
Because I haven't quite transferred my domain, but I believe people can still access all these pages, yeah?
It depends on if you're linking them anywhere, and in the settings, whether or not the page is shown everywhere by link only. I mean, basically, if you have it clicked here where it says everywhere, it means that it's indexable by like Google and search engines. So if you would prefer that it be something that's not discoverable unless a direct link is provided, you could always select this on the pages that you create.
Okay. So as long as those are clicked, people can find it via a link.
Right. And in any case, they would be available by link regardless. If you don't want them to be seen anywhere, period, then you can unpublish them as well. So if they're published, they will be visible if a link is made available to them.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So on my homepage, I had a colleague build that for me, and I'm wanting to like change the back. I don't want it to be black in the middle. And I go to try to change it, but when I click on that stuff and I just click the pencil, right? And then I thought I changed the color to white, but then it didn't change. So I wasn't sure what I was doing wrong.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you've got an image there.
I know, but I can't get it to load.
I think it's an image with a transparent background. Let's see. So that's the entire section, but we have here in this area just lots of sections. Kind of curious how this shakes out. Okay.
Stacks.
Okay. So the simplest path here, I think, are there multiple sections here?
Obviously, I mean,
columns?
the goal is just, that's the home page and there's 3 places you can go. So I was just trying to make it simple.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's kind of hard for me to tell what is applied where, because when I go to try to isolate an element under element styles here, I've got a lot of, let me see. Yeah, I don't see color applied here to the background of these sections. This is odd.
I know. And then when you do try to edit it and change the color, it doesn't stay.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, and the background color, I can go white, I can, yeah, so I think that it's not that the color isn't being applied to the entire, I think,
Is
actually
it
don't think that this
a
image,
whole image in itself that she just uploaded as an image? All three columns are one image?
they're actually not, it looks like that was an attempt that was made, because
Okay.
you see, I just removed it. And all of this is still here. So these are actually applied, I think, to the background of each column, right? Because you do have 3 columns. And that's why, like if we go to the column editor here, and we go to, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see that there are actually 3 columns, because if we try to move them, right?
Right.
So there is color being applied to at least the background of the individual column. I'm just kind of struggling to see how I can just isolate the just the image in the
I
background
know. That's
there.
why I was like, I'm so glad I'm getting on a
Let's
call today because I cannot figure
see.
it out.
Yeah. No, sometimes we play around with the editor to the point where we're just too smart for our own good. So I just went into the advanced editor so that we can maybe just kind of look at the code situation here.
Oh, that's probably what she did.
It very well could be. So let me see. If it's just a matter of changing the background color. All right, I assume this is maybe the second.
I mean, maybe it's fine. It just looked, I don't know, just doesn't look very good, black and white.
Yeah,
I think I
no,
figured out how the background images are in there. I was looking at it on this end.
okay,
Can you switch back to the normal editor quick?
yeah,
And then, so like go over to the content tool, the A up on top instead of the element editor. I'm not sure where all those line breaks came in, but then now click on one of those and then hit edit styles on the bottom in the button. And if you scroll way down, there's a background image in there.
oh, really?
So that's how it's being put in
Okay.
there from the looks of things.
So
Image,
that
okay.
background image is actually like, that is a black background.
Hey, okay.
So, oh,
So,
yep, see, there it is, right? Because if we were to change it, you see how that just changed? Right?
okay.
So this image,
So it's an
yeah, if it's like in Canva or something like that will be maybe something you want to change in Canva. So let's rewind here. Here's how we found that. Thank you, Greg. Content editor. You see how like you can't totally see it, but it's kind of like when you hover over, it's going to select one of these boxes, right? So select the one in the middle. Under edit styles, this all the way at the bottom is the background image for this section. So you're just going to want to put a different image in here.
Okay. Yeah, that's some detective work. Thank you.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Was there anything else?
Yeah, just the only other thing is, so I have a pop-up and I
Okay.
just want to make sure it's set up right. And if you could recommend any automations I could set up with it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's just a pop-up for my free class. And then but the goal would be to, it's one free class for both my courses. So then I would want to automate anybody who downloads that to encourage them to sign up if that's what they're inspired to do.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got the form set up. And it looks like you are only wanting to display this if somebody, it's an exit intent pop-up at this point. So if somebody tries to leave the page, then this pops up, which is fine. This is
Whatever
fairly,
you recommend. I've just was clicking boxes to get something started, but I wanted to
yeah.
get.
So this is actually good. Another thing that you might consider doing, it just kind of depends on how you want to run your business, but generally speaking, we're providing right here, just from the get-go, you know, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here. That's great. We've got testimonials. maybe what I might include is like just somewhere on this page, some kind of a button that could be pushed that allows people to see this pop up, right? So maybe you have a section, maybe down here, where, you know, you actually put the image that you have in the pop-up here. You talk about the thing that when they click the button, it'll pop up that form. And so here, what you would do if you were to do something like that is you would have hashtag lead in the pop-up field, or sorry, in the button field here. We go to done. And then when we get to that point on the page, then when we click this, it pops it up as well. So that way you're offering the lead magnet on the page, not just as an exit intent.
Yes.
So yeah, I would recommend having that as, you know, just something in addition. Yeah, so you're collecting email, phone, that's good. You have a campaign here, awesome. So the campaign is really what's going to be doing most of the work, right? So they've signed up for the free class. I might also give a specific, like a leads tag here, just to also delineate that, you know, these aren't clients, but these are leads. You're sending them to a thank you page. That's great. Also something I would recommend. Perfect. Oh, that's great. Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, and then the
I don't know what the free class campaign is, though. I didn't set that up or anything.
Yeah, so I would recommend that you have quite a bit more here than just the here's your free training. You have a really great opportunity here to have sort of like an initial nurture campaign, where, you know, after somebody signs up for the free training, we obviously want to give them the free training, but then we want to strike while the iron is hot, as it were, you know. So if they're interested in marmotherapy, then we want to start learning why and engaging them on why, what are their goals, etc. And so in the subsequent messages that are now going to their inbox, you've got the opportunity to expand on those conversations. And sure, at that point, you could use things like automations to maybe trigger a different campaign if they are a practitioner versus somebody, you know, so maybe there's someone who would be getting continuing education credits for you. You're not going to necessarily be speaking to them the same way as you would somebody who might be a private client of yours, right? So in this campaign, you have the ability to kind of start looking at ways that you can kind of branch out into those more targeted ways of communicating. But at the minimum, you do, of course, want to be able to deliver the thing that you're offering. So this is a message that does go out right away. And it looks like we've got the link here. And this is just going straight to a video that's in your video manager, which is great. I would definitely encourage you to just as a step beyond here, maybe consider embedding this video into its own page in AttractWell, where you deliver this, but then you maybe have a link beneath that goes into maybe selling your courses, right? So that way you could take someone who, you know, takes advantage of this free thing that you're offering. And then if they like what they see, they can go deeper, and that's all on the same page. Does that make sense?
Yes, I just like the pop-up so I could grab their contact info.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But yeah, there's more you can do with that. And I think that where I would encourage you to go and kind of check out like the funnel structure and how you can better optimize that, it's going to be in the Success Academy under online resources and courses. And it's this client funnel challenge. You could certainly also catch a more abbreviated, this is a course. You can catch a more abbreviated training here with the one-page funnel blueprint, which we ultimately say, if you like what's here, then take the course, and it's free for you as an AttractWell member. But it kind of goes through like, here's everything you want to do in a funnel, and basically how to take the people who say, yes, I want this information from you, and you know, kind of get them converted on to whatever those next steps are as quickly as possible, if that's the path that they are looking for.
Thank you. And then as far as those follow-up at automations, like you're saying, nurturing campaign, how would you recommend I start creating the content for those emails?
Yeah, so I mean, it's really just a matter of creating another message in the campaign and then just dripping out what you want to say moving forward. But in terms of learning kind of what you might want to put into a campaign like that, the Client Funnel Challenge does go over sort of outlining what it looks like for you to basically say, okay, here's what I'm selling. I'm selling some courses. And if people say yes to this lead magnet, so I've got a lead magnet that teaches aromatherapy, and if they like that, then they are very likely going to be the same kind of person who likes this thing that I'm selling, right? And so what the campaign messages are doing are building trust and connection, right? So you're maybe sharing a little bit of your story in context with why they would have signed up to get the free thing you offered. Maybe you're sharing some client testimonials, case studies, etc. And then you are ultimately positioning the thing you're selling as a next step. Unless, of course, you know, and what I teach in the client funnel challenge primarily is getting people onto discovery calls, right? So if somebody gets this free guide to DIY this thing that they're looking for, and if you are coaching, if you're selling your services or time, then you want to get them onto a discovery call to see if you're a fit to work together. But where this would differ for you is you would simply send them, like I mentioned before, you have that video where you're delivering the lead magnet, but then right underneath it, you talk about the courses, and then you send them off to the sales pages for the courses.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And you would be talking about all those things in the campaign as well, right? Because what they're experiencing on the pages is just a blip of a moment in time. But once you've got your contact information, or you've got theirs in your system rather, then you're able to show up on a daily or every couple of days basis to build a relationship and start nudging them toward taking that next step.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
I guess my last one would be, can I order my store products myself? Like, can I put them in the order I want them to be appearing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wasn't able to do that based on like, if I just go to the store page.
Yeah, so in your store, yeah, you've got a few different options as to how you can set them up. If you put them into collections, here, if we go to view your store, we could take a look here. So if you want to organize them in a particular way, Greg, are they automatically alphabetical?
I think they are. I'd have to look offhand, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure that's how that goes.
Okay, but if you wanted to kind of provide a bit more structure for them, then using those collections. So right here you have training manuals, right? So maybe you've got, you know, spa therapy is the category, or modalities is the category, or whatever that looks like. So you can actually divide those in here just to improve the navigation beyond, because generally speaking, with just about any store that you encounter, the default is going to be that sort of alphabetical order, or some other type of very simple logic ordering. But if you want the customer or the visitor experience to be a bit more specific, I think the first level would be to kind of figure out what you want the categorization to look like if you've got more than a few things.
Okay.
Another little idea to add into that, if you put, I think it's just a space at the beginning of the product name, like in the product listing, it won't show up here, but I think it will alphabetize it to the top. Like if you've got a one or two that you want to pull to the top of the list, you could do something like that, and that would just pull those to the top, especially if you've got a bunch of products like this. So that could be like a little hack, I guess, to work around that. Something to try.
And then as far as if I wanted to offer an affiliate program for my courses, can you recommend one that's compatible with AttractWell?
Yeah, a lot of folks use Affiliately with us. And I don't know, Greg, do you know of any others? That's the one that I see most often.
Yeah, Affiliately, there's another one called TapAffiliate, but Affiliately is super affordable. TapAffiliate, I think, does recurring payments maybe a little bit better. So that's where some people get into that. I just put a link in the chat here to the help article that we have about the two that we have instructions for anyway. I'm sure it's possible for other platforms to be used, but Affiliately has been a pretty good one. They have like a 90-day free trial, or at least they used to. So you can get started without a whole lot of upfront cost.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so helpful.
Yeah, sure thing. And that's that link is in the discussion if you want to check that out, or if anyone else here would like to learn more about that as well. We also did a training on affiliate marketing, as well as how you could be an affiliate for AttractWell if you choose. So definitely check that out. That's in our replays that you'll find in the dashboard. So Peggy, hope your lawn guy is out of the way for you. I've got you unmuted, or I've got you available to talk. How's it going?
Thanks. Yes, he is done.
All right. How can we help?
So I am setting up my campaign for my campaigns for 5 to Thrive for when the course runs again in September.
Okay.
And ran the course in May and June and came across an issue that I wanted your opinion on.
Okay.
So if when somebody registers, they automatically get the welcome and ebook campaign, which is I think it's just one message.
Okay.
Then 2 weeks before the start date of the program or thereabouts, I send anybody that's registered the welcome to the vault so that they can get into the vault. And then 2 days before the program starts, I send them an all sessions email. So it's the we meet in 2 days, today's the day, here's the recap, blah, blah, and that runs, I don't know, 20 something emails. At the end of the program, I want them to do 2 things. I want them to sign up for my upsell. And I also want them to complete a questionnaire. So I needed to split the campaign at the end because if they did one, I couldn't remove them from the campaign because then they wouldn't receive maybe if they signed up for the upsell, they didn't complete the questionnaire and then they wouldn't get any more emails.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just take a peek at my 5 TT. So I created an extra, actually 2 extra campaigns, I think, to start running at the very end of the program. So
Okay.
so talk about not developing dementia, because this thing really, it really made me think about how I was going to do this. So the all sessions campaign that ends, I believe when the program ends.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually, maybe that this one also asks them to, yeah, so it asks them to sign up for the bundle, which is my
Okay.
okay, so this one, so I can let that run out, and when they sign up, I have the automation that it removes them from the campaign. They don't get any more emails.
Okay.
I created this recap queue campaign, so that sort of picks up the day after the program. It is so yeah, so crazy. So it picks up after the program ends with a recap, and then asks for the feedback.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably so confusing. It makes sense in my head, but I'd love to know if there's an easier way.
Okay. So when you are getting the feedback from them, you are sending them to a page on your site and
Correct.
Okay. So here's what I would do. Big picture, have the campaign for your program, right? And that is a date-based campaign. That's going to have all of your, you're in the vault, the reminders, here's our, the replay, go to all of the vault based, all of the program, live program experience, have all of that in a single campaign. Now, for the 2 actions that you want people to engage with after you're done with the program, you're going to create a campaign for each, right? So you're going to have the feedback campaign, and you're going to have the upsell campaign. And you'll want to make sure when you set these up, and both of these are going to be attached via an automation to the last message of your program campaign, right? So that main one that's got like the 20 something messages in it, the very last one, and that could be, there's a recap, right? That would be fine because everybody's going to get the same recap message and they're probably all going to get it regardless. You attach a campaign, or sorry, you attach the automation to that final message of that campaign. And that automation is going to apply these 2 new campaigns. You just want to make sure that both of them start on day 1 or later, right? So let's just say, for instance, the I would like your feedback campaign needs to go on day 1 and 3 and 5 until they fill out that form, right? And then you have an automation that removes that campaign, because that form, you can attach an automation to that form, right? So if somebody actually goes, they give their feedback, you don't have to bug them for their feedback anymore, right? So you'll have an automation that removes that campaign when they fill out that form, so you're no longer bugging them about the form. Then stagger, again, alternately, day 2, day 4, day 6, etc. That campaign is going to go out, that is, you know, talking about the, and I wouldn't actually show up every other day asking for feedback. I would do that maybe once every 5 or 6 days, especially if you're going to be sending a sales campaign concurrently, right? So a sales campaign I'd send every couple of days, whereas a reminder, I'd love your feedback, I'd send that every, not quite whole week, but close in that type of interval. But you just basically want to have the intervals for the campaigns be such that you're not bombarding them on the same day, right? And then you're using an automation, and these campaigns are not date based unless the upsell campaign is like, or needs to be, right? So the second thing that you're selling after that program, is that like, is there like a hard cart close for that?
No, as long as they sign up before the date that the upsell starts.
Okay, got you. Yeah, so then that campaign, the sales campaign for the second offer, that would be a date-based campaign. But again, it's not applying until that last message is sent. So you do have 3 campaigns you're working with here. And the reason why you want to do this is number one, you have multiple outcomes that you're looking for, and you need to be able to, like you said, manage the communications where you're no longer asking them for feedback if they've already given feedback. But what if they have purchased but they haven't given feedback? And so for combining campaigns, it just doesn't work that way. And also, I imagine your program is something that you may be offering again in the future. So the benefit here is that you've got these modular pieces that you can then reuse in the future. So it's cleaner, where you've got, this is the delivery of the experience campaign, and only that, and the automation that's in it will then deliver those, you know, the secondary pieces, such as give me your feedback or the upsell. And that way also, if you decide to change the upsell in the future when you offer this, you can just take that campaign out of the automation, maybe switch it with a different one for a different offer that you're making. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Just make sure that for each of those additional campaigns that you create, you have automations for those that remove them at that point of engagement that you're looking for. So the I need your feedback campaign, you're attaching that to the form where you're collecting the feedback. That automation's removing that campaign from that contact. If they purchase the upsell, you want to attach the campaign at that point of upsell, so that they're not receiving the sales messages for that upsell anymore.
Okay, so on the last message for that long campaign, I attach the automation that starts, say, the next campaigns, and then
that's right.
And then I start them on day 1, so they don't go out immediately, or day 2 or whatever, so they don't go
That's
out.
right. Yeah. Day 1 would be where I would start the sales campaign, because that'll be 24 hours after the first, or that a day after that last email was sent. And then, you know, the requesting feedback, you could actually put the first request for feedback. Well, no, you do want to have, don't put a request for feedback in anything other than the request for feedback campaign, because you need to be able to, like, if somebody did it like on the first prompt that's in the main campaign, then you have, you know, there's no way to remove them from that campaign that you're about to apply to them, right? So yeah, so I would, everything needs to, there's no day 0 message on these other 2 campaigns. And one of them obviously is going to be sending a bit more frequently than the other.
Okay, and having it not on day 0 will automatically start it the next day, like the automation. Okay.
Yeah.
And any messages that I send on day 0, as soon as that person is added to that campaign, they'll get that message immediately.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Which would be, in this case, if you're attaching the automation to the last message of that first campaign, that means they're getting it the same day that they got that, you know, here's our recap, or here's, you know, our replay or whatever.
Okay. Got it. Understand. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Glad we could help. And that's really cool. Excited to see what you do with that. So thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
on and sharing. All right, let's see, Catherine, is the online course model good if you're doing coaching calls, supervision or consultation calls as the primary product for now? So I really love online courses as a supplement to coaching, right? So, and you'll see, like, there's actually, I did a training called How to Coursify Your Coaching. It's one of our older trainings, but I actually think it's kind of an essential one if you do one-on-one coaching. And that is something that you'll find in our replays in the Success Academy. If you go to the live calls and replays, type in course, or just the word course, and Coursify Your Coaching will show up in there. But I think that it is an integral piece of coaching one-on-one to capture your educational prompts, instructions, materials, philosophies, whatever it is that you're delivering, anything that is teaching, right? Because if you're coaching, if you're consulting, there is a knowledge gap that you and your clients, have to sort of deal with. And you could be the person who is closing the knowledge gap on every call that you're on, and it takes up at least 50% of the call sometimes. Or you could have an online course that you create that your one-on-one clients just get access to, right? And maybe you even assign, like, hey, it's, before we get on our next call, you need to review this, this, and this. And then that way they're coming to the call without the knowledge gap, and you can really just kind of zoom in on actual coaching, right? So, and then of course, if the curriculum that you've put together is one that really could be sold on its own, then now you do have multiple things that you can offer. If somebody maybe can't afford your coaching yet, or you're not quite a fit to work together for your one-on-one offering, but they could benefit from the knowledge that you share, that now opens up a new income stream for you. So if you're a coach, I absolutely recommend that you continue coaching one-on-one and find ways to build leverage into how you coach one-on-one. And then what you'll find is that those resources can often become great supplemental sources of income. And a lot of coaches do switch over to eventually, selling online courses as a primary way of running their business. But it's not like a trend or anything. It's not like most coaches wind up selling courses. No, it's a supplement for most coaches. And something that you're able to do a lot more successfully, the larger your brand grows, the bigger your list is, etc. So let me see. For my audience, they need the hours one-on-one with me, but I'm really feeling the course is an additional benefit to increase my asking price. Yeah, it's a fantastic thing to be able to say you get this entire course, and I say it's worth $997, and you just pay $1,200 to work with me, because you build that once, and you get to use it either to sell on its own or to add value to what you're doing over and over and over and over again. So yeah, highly recommend that, if for nothing other than giving yourself more leverage into how you work. Awesome. Thank you guys for such great questions. Reminder, we will not be live next week. It will be a pre-recorded training, but I think you're really going to enjoy it. We have an exciting new update in our system. If you're someone who is very content focused, if you create blogs or podcasts, and you want to be able to center that content and make that more visible in more engaging ways on your site, you're not going to want to miss it. We're actually going to be using a friend of ours who is a friend of our community here. We're going to be taking a look at some cool stuff that she's got on her site to demonstrate that feature. So highly recommend that you, just as normal, show up to check out the live preview on our YouTube channel next week. You'll get an email on Monday if you are on our list. If you aren't yet, that's AttractWell.com/office hours. And we'll be back here live in 2 weeks. And till then, hope you guys have a good one, and we look forward to seeing you then.